Older folks, you had folks middle-aged like myself.
Another shooting at 805 Gretna Court. Caller says a sister was shot.
Witnesses describe a sea of bullets after midnight at what began as a family night of fun. At least 30 people shot, an 18-year-old woman and a 20-year-old man killed. And a night later, the search for suspects is still underway. Authorities say they're looking for multiple shooters.
We know for sure there is definitely more than one. We don't know exactly how many, but we do know more than one person was shooting.
This was a reckless, cowardly act of violence that has taken 2 lives and altered many, many more. And as I said earlier, we will find those who are responsible, and we will not stop until we do so.
And I think she got shot in her legs.
Laquel Nelson told CBS News she helped race one of the victims to the hospital.
And I just kept telling her, baby, just breathe slowly, just breathing it out, just breathing it out. I'm going to get you there. I'm going to get you there.
City police records show this was the 310th shooting so far this year in Baltimore, and one that has staggered a city at the start of what was supposed to be a week of celebrations.
It's crazy. It's just getting worse and worse. Yeah. Doesn't make no sense.
There were kids as young as 13 among the victims, and at least 4 of them were brought to a pediatric emergency room. Scott McFarland, CBS News, Baltimore.
In the U.S., there are thousands of people waiting for a transplant, including one woman from mid-Michigan who's in dire need of a life-saving liver transplant. Sarah Minton was diagnosed at just 26 years old with a blood disease that caused her body to attack her liver. With the help of doctors, she was able to live a normal life, creating a family and having 2 daughters. But just 2 years ago, she was diagnosed with liver cancer. Doctors have given her just 6 months to live if she does not find a donor.
I want to be able to be around to see my daughters graduate from high school and college, have grandkids, weddings, all the fun milestones you have in your life.
Sarah needs a donor who is fully vaccinated. If you would like to help, you can find more information at WLNS.com. A study done by the CDC says that Black women are more likely to die from pregnancy complications than white women are. According to the CDC, the maternal mortality rate in 2021 was 89% higher than it was in 2018. These numbers have drawn the attention of the White House, including Vice President Kamala Harris, who weighed in on the reason for the mortality gap.
Well, one reality of it that may be hard for some people to hear is because she's Black. When she walks into that clinic, that doctor's office, that hospital, she is not taken as seriously. Another reality of this issue is that it has nothing to do with her socioeconomic level or her educational level. It literally has to do with the color of her skin and the biases that are present in the system.
Since becoming vice president, Harris hosted the first ever Maternal Day of Action at the White House. 6 News is spending July taking a deep dive into an issue that affects mid-Michigan and millions across the country, opioid addiction. We'll talk about everything from enforcing drug laws to fighting addiction, including how you or your loved ones can get help. We'll also hear stories from some survivors, so join us for Fighting Addiction, Heartbreak, and Hope, Mondays in July at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. right here on 6 News. With the 4th of July just around the corner, fire departments are asking people to use caution when lighting fireworks, as Michigan ranks 5th for the most firework accidents in the country. A fire safety expert says fireworks are not toys and kids should not be playing with them without parental supervision. Keeping a water source nearby is also suggested, so if fireworks get out of hand, you can put them out. The U.S. reports that most fatal firework accidents happen when a firework malfunctions.
That fireworks tips over or it doesn't go off, stay back, get everybody else back, and make sure, again, we've got water close by so that you can soak that firework that did not light. It still could light at a later point in time and cause injury or death.
But before you go lighting off those fireworks, check with your local fire department to see if your city is under a burn ban. While fireworks, both the kind you set off and the professional displays, can be fun, remember, they can be terrifying for your pets. To help keep them safe, leave your pets at home when you go to parties, firework displays, Parades and other gatherings, try to keep them indoors, close the blinds, and turn on the TV or radio to provide some distraction. Use a leash or carrier if you must go outside with your pet to keep them from running off, which is a common response to stress and fear. Also, make sure your pet's microchip is current. If you're looking for something a little more calming than fireworks, head to Osime Lavender Farms in Weberville for their first You Pick Lavender Festival. It starts tomorrow and runs through July 8th and again from July 10th through July 15th. For more information about that, head to our Scene on 6 section of our website at WLNS.com. You can find a link there. And if you're out on the roads headed to the Lavender Fest or any other place, you may see signs that look like this, reminding you of the new hands-free law that took effect on Friday. Michigan became the 26th state in the U.S. to adopt this legislation, placing strict penalties on drivers found using cell phones without using hands-free technology. MDOT will install signs at 37 locations along state line and border crossings this week as a reminder to drivers.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Well, activity has calmed down since what we were seeing this evening. We're just looking at the chance for a couple of isolated sprinkles lingering for areas just south of I-94. For the rest of us, gloomy conditions with some patchy fog settling in tonight. We actually did see a really decent amount of rain in the area. The most in our area fell down in Jackson, closing in on that 2-inch mark over there. 9/10 of an inch reported over in Adrian. A little bit less here in Lansing, still just shy of that 2/10 of an inch mark. And then over towards Grand Rapids, also some pretty notable rainfall totals. The thing is with this rain though, because it was so heavy and so intense at certain points in time, it really is not expected to kind of help out some of the drought conditions that we are seeing. The likely situation that's going to help things out is we need this light, steady, consistent rain as we move throughout the next couple of days. Unfortunately, we just have some dry weather and sunshine here. High temperatures made it up to 78 degrees, currently sitting right at 71 here in Lansing. Over towards Grand Ledge, actually shaping up to be a pretty quiet night. No sustained winds to speak of being picked up by our sensor at least. Maximums only up to 7 miles per hour thus far. Over towards downtown Jackson, again, some pretty high rainfall totals over here, but again, wind gusts, even as those thunderstorms roll through, only kicked up to 18 miles per hour. Our current temperatures are sitting in the upper 60s, but it still is incredibly humid outside. Dew point temperatures as we move throughout the rest of the night going to be in the mid to upper 60s. 67 degrees over towards downtown Hillsdale, nearly 3/4 of an inch of rain being picked up throughout your Sunday. And then finally off to our north in St. John's, only 7/100 of an inch of rain has fallen into the rain gauge today. Again, Precision Cast is fairly quiet as we move throughout the overnight hours tonight. Some really dense patches of fog likely going to be possible for your Monday morning commute. Good news is it is expected to lift fairly quickly as we move throughout the morning. We are looking at mostly sunny conditions for a couple of hours before the chance for more isolated pop-up showers and thunderstorms returns Monday afternoon. We clear things out yet again for the evening, and then a very similar situation is likely going to play out on Tuesday. Mostly sunny for the first couple of hours, isolated showers possible in the afternoon. Good news is though, all of this activity is expected to clear out by the time we get into your Tuesday evening. So any activities that you do have planned, including maybe a couple of bonfires, maybe you're barbecuing or any of the fireworks displays, looks to be in the clear. The one caveat that we kind of have in the forecast here is not only the heat, but also the humidity as well. When dew point temperatures are above that 65-degree mark, that's when we start to think about some really muggy and humid conditions. This is going to be in place actually as we move throughout the better portion of the work week here. We are only likely to see some relief as we move throughout your Wednesday night and then into Thursday, and even that relief is expected to be fairly brief. Temperatures tonight falling down to 65 degrees. Tomorrow we'll make it up to a high of 86. Some dry conditions in the forecast for 4th of July, followed by the chance of rain on Thursday. First half of next weekend looks dry, but of course, as those rain showers return for next Sunday, it also looks like even with the mild temperatures, we do have some indication of that humidity returning as well.
Wow, that is a lovely July 4th forecast. I'm not mad at it.
I know, and I mean, yes, it's humid, but I mean, still perfect to go outside and enjoy it.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, Kendall, at least it isn't as hot in Michigan as it is in Texas right now. Take a look at this. Footage shot in Austin shows 3 squirrels laid out in a star shape while lying in a tree trying to cool off. Local reports call the practice splooting. It's when an animal presses its belly on a cool surface to lower their body temperature. The report says animals can sploot on the ground, in trees, or on a roof. Coming up on 6 News at 11, we'll have reaction to the big decisions made by the Supreme Court this week. So stay tuned. 6 News at 11. We'll be right back. It's been a week of historic decisions by the U.S. Supreme Court, from striking down affirmative action in college admissions to halting President Biden's plan to forgive student loan debt. Lawmakers are now reacting to those changes. Skylar Henry has the latest from Washington.
One by one, the court makes decisions that they don't like. All of a sudden, the court is, a not normal court, according to President Biden. Republican presidential challengers weighed in on the wave of momentous decisions by the Supreme Court.
What the Supreme Court showed is regardless of where you're born and raised, what color you are, what gender you are going to be able to have individual freedom, and that's a win for the United States of America.
Last week, the High Court's 6-3 conservative majority ruled race cannot be a factor when colleges and universities consider applicants. Justices also sided with a designer who opposed making same-sex wedding websites and invalidated President Biden's student loan forgiveness program that would have wiped out nearly $500 billion in borrower debt.
The majority of people that would have benefited from this student loan forgiveness are people with multiple graduate degrees.
The administration said it would have provided relief for many middle-class Americans. Despite the blow, President Biden vowed to carve out a new plan to forgive those loans.
We'll use every tool at our disposal to get you the student debt relief you need and reach your dreams.
According to White House estimates, some 20 million Americans would have seen their student loan balances erased altogether. Biden administration officials say they'll now look to using the Higher Education Act, which will look to try to develop a new authority to take on student loan forgiveness. But President Biden says that path will take time. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Devastating to a lot of people. We'll be right back with a final look at your forecast. But first, here are your winning lottery numbers.
Mostly cloudy conditions in the forecast for the rest of the night. Some patchy fog also will be developing in the area by tomorrow morning as temperatures fall down to 65 degrees. A stray shower or thunderstorm is going to be possible Monday afternoon, but for the most part, we are looking at mostly sunny and dry conditions for the next couple of days here. That does include for 4th of July with temperatures near 90 degrees by then. A little bit of a cool down on the way for the second half of the work week. That's also when humidity is going to briefly exit the area as well.
That is good news for us here in Michigan.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 4th of July?
Yes.
Looking pretty nice.
Awesome. Ian's here because it's time for Sports Overtime, and the weather didn't put a damper on the Rocket Mortgage Classic.
It did not. It was not going to stop the fans from cheering on Ricky Fowler, who led coming into the day. We're going to have a recap from Detroit Golf Club after the break. Plus, the Detroit Tigers did something today for the first time since 2009. We'll share it with you and more next in Sports Overtime.